Okay, now what we're going to do is take a look at our agent file so that we can take advantage of Axios interceptors to check the response that we're getting back, and then in a central location we can do something with each different type of error that we get. So we'll open up the agent.ts file, and let's just clean up the tabs at the top. And we've already got an interceptor that's checking the response here. Now, we don't actually want this in a try-catch block because let's just remove the try, and we'll remove the catch block as well for the time being. And if we add a comma after this closing curly brace, then we'll see that we get the response, and we've got the option here to do what we want to do on rejected. Now, anything that's not a 200 is going to be an error response. Axios knows this is not a successful response, so it's going to consider anything that comes here as rejected. So what we'll do is we'll specify error, and then we're going to say this is a type of Axios error. And then we add the function. And what we'll do is we'll destructure some properties from the error itself. So we'll say error.response, and then from inside the error response, we're going to get the data object, which we looked at earlier, and also the status, which gives us the status code. Now, we might not have an error response, but we're going to add the exclamation mark to tell TypeScript that we know what we're doing here. If we do get a rejected, then we're going to have an error response object that we can interrogate, and we'll get the data and the status from there. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a switch statement on the status. So depending which response we're getting, we can do something with it. And what we'll do is we'll say that in the case that we get a 400 status code, for example, then we'll make use of our toast, and we'll say toast.error, and we'll just say bad request. We'll just hard code some text inside here for the time being, and then we'll break. And we'll do the same for the 401. We'll say toast.error, and we'll just say unauthorized. And then we'll break. And in the case that we get a 404, then for now, we're just going to use toast.error again and just say not found. Some of these are just placeholders, by the way, at the moment. And we'll do something specific for each different error, but we just want to make sure our interceptor is working as it should do first of all. And then we'll say case 500, we'll say toast.error, and we'll just say server error. And again, we'll say break. And then below the switch statement, we'll just return a promise.reject, and we'll pass in the error. And we haven't actually dealt with authentication yet, so this 401's a bit pointless just now, but we'll put it in place there for when we do need it later on anyway. But what we should find now, if we go back to our browser, and let's just refresh this page, then what we should find is that each time we click on one of these errors, we see the toast in the bottom right hand corner. For the bad request, the validation error still is a bad request at the moment. We need to do some configuration with the 400. The server error, and the unauthorized, and the bad GUID. So we've got a few things to do in terms of the 400 error because it's not specific to each of these different types of 400 we have at the moment. But what we'll take a look at next is what to do in the case of the not found. Ideally, we want to redirect them to a not found component, and we'll take a look at that next.